Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, as always, the coincidentalist is in full effect, and your man Deontay Wilder is representing the coincidentalist proudly. Now, before I go deep with the whole truth, let me go ahead and report the news and get you guys up to date. So, you guys all know by now Deontay Wilder is fighting against the man that the decaf said he would not fight, he was afraid of, and he would avoid with all his might because of that permanent yellow streak down Deontay Wilder's back that the majority of coincidentalist fighters are supposed to share, according to the decafs, constantly calling them chickens, cowards, duckers, gay runners, etc., etc., etc. Well, Deontay Wilder is doing something that a lot of their favorite fighters are not willing to do, and that is fight someone that some of you fans accuse Deontay Wilder of ducking and being afraid of. Instead of giving up his belt the way Carl Frampton did to avoid Guillermo Rigondeaux, Deontay Wilder, he said hell to the no. I'm not giving up my belt. If I gotta fight this dude, I'm gonna fight him. Matter of fact, not only is he fighting Alexander Povetkin, but he's fighting the man in his own damn backyard in Russia. So Deontay Wilder is fighting Alexander Povetkin on May 22nd. And recently, Deontay Wilder, he did an interview with ES News basically saying that the Povetkin fight is going to be easy. Matter of fact, this is exactly what he had to say. Quote, I felt like this was going to be an easy fight for me. I really do. I'm a different breed from all those other heavyweights. Honestly, I don't think he can fight tall fighters. I'm going off the Klitschko fight, but even the Marius Walk fight, we're all going to see what happens the night of the fight. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. End quote. Now, the first thing I want to say in response to what Wilder just said is if Wilder goes in there and blows Povetkin out the water, that would be a hell of a statement. Once again, this is the guy that fans said Deontay Wilder was afraid of because of his style, because of that short inside game that Povetkin has. A lot of people believe that Deontay Wilder, he doesn't really have a tight inside game. So he'll be really tested in that department when it comes to this fight. So once again, if Wilder goes in there and just blows this guy out the water, if Wilder fights a little bit on the inside, or who knows, maybe he won't even have to fight on the inside. Because I know Povetkin, as short as he is, he tries to get on the inside, but a lot of times he'll actually wait on the outside and try to counter taller fighters, which would be a no-no against somebody like Deontay Wilder, because you'll be sitting there waiting to get hit by that long, big-ass, quick-ass right hand that Deontay Wilder throws. I'm going to tell you something about Wilder's right hand. As far as I'm concerned, his right hand is equivalent to Manny Pacquiao's left hand. When you have a weapon that's that damn dangerous, it's kind of like it makes up for some of the flaws that you have. That's how Manny Pacquiao is. Manny Pacquiao, he may not have the best balance, he may not have the greatest defense, but a lot of times his left hand makes up for his flaws. And I believe Deontay Wilder is the same way. Deontay Wilder is not the perfect heavyweight. And overall, he is not the most skilled or intelligent heavyweight when you have fighters like Luis Ortiz out there and other fighters. But Luis Ortiz, he comes to mind right now. But my point is, if Deontay Wilder goes in there and he blows this guy away, once again, that would be a hell of a statement. I think Deontay Wilder, even though he has some flaws, he's learning on the job. You could just see Deontay Wilder, he's trying to improve every time he gets in the ring with a different opponent. He started late in the sport. He doesn't have an extensive amateur pedigree with like 200 or 300 amateur fights. He started extremely late. And it definitely shows. But one thing that's not lacking when it comes to Deontay Wilder is his ambition, his desire, his passion. Deontay Wilder, he has a type of hunger and confidence that can sometimes, once again, make up for a fighter's flaws. I really like this matchup. I mean, you could basically say it's a 50-50 fight. A lot of fans don't realize when you accuse someone of being afraid of someone, you actually sell the fight even more. And even if you didn't want to, you end up giving that guy that you thought was going to turn this fight down more credit than you wanted to. Because now, by your own admission, Deontay Wilder is going in there with a Goliath. He's going in there with the boogeyman. He's going in there with the guy that he's afraid of. So what does that say about Deontay Wilder? Once again, it goes back to that confidence and hunger that Deontay Wilder has. You can tell that Deontay Wilder, he wants to be the best. Like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to tell you that Wilder is pound for pound, top 10, one of the best fighters in the world. I'm not going to tell you that he's the most talented heavyweight or the best heavyweight. But what I am telling you guys is a guy with confidence and determination is often a guy that is just as dangerous as a fighter that's more skilled, more technically sound than he is. I tell my son this all the time. My son, who you guys probably already know by now, just in case you don't know, he's been boxing all his life. He's a 4-time state champion, 2-time national champion. He's one of those type of fighters that has a tremendous amount of natural talent. He goes in there and, he's 14 and he fights like he's 25 years old. But I always tell him, I say, listen, man, with all that talent you have, all that natural skill, making it look so much easier than these other kids are making it look, you could get in the ring with a guy and be way more skilled and talented than he is. But if that kid wants it more than you, if you're not training hard, you over here doing 2 rounds on a heavy bag, and when your dad or your trainer is not looking at you hit the bag, you slack off and you don't really care about hitting the bag, or maybe you're not running the miles that you're supposed to be running, whatever the case may be. If you're sitting over here cheating yourself, thinking you're cheating somebody else, but really you're cheating yourself because you the one got to get in the ring. If you're sitting over here cheating yourself because you believe that you're so naturally gifted, you don't have to train as hard as your opponent, you're setting yourself up for failure. And once again, that kid who's not as good as you, doesn't have the skill that you have, he can end up beating you because he wants it more than you, because he's training harder than you are. And I believe in this fight, that kid who wants it more and doesn't have the best skill set in the world is Deontay Wilder. And I'm not trying to suggest that Wilder is training harder than Povetkin. I was just giving you guys a little bit of an analogy with my son. So anyway, once again, I look forward to seeing this fight. And I'll close with saying this. When it comes to the coincidental list, I find it ironic, like I was telling you guys at the beginning of this video, I think I said in this video, it's funny how these fans, they will complain that someone like Floyd Mayweather, he's boring, he doesn't get knockouts, Andre Ward is boring, Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? Always using these code words because we know what they really want to call them, but they have to use the code words to be politically correct. So anyway, they say all these fighters are boring, that's why I don't like them. But then you have someone like Deontay Wilder who comes along and he's giving you what you said you actually wanted. Knockouts, action, drama, a great personality. And yet this man still gets treated no different than everyone else on the coincidental list. So we know what time it is. Now, what else is funny is very similar to the Mayweather-Pacquiao situation. Decaf should really be careful for what they ask for, because these decafs, they accuse Floyd Mayweather of having that same yellow streak going down his back, accusing him of ducking Manny Pacquiao, being afraid of him. And once again, even though I have the actual interview with Freddie Roach, where Freddie Roach admits that it was their fault that the first fight in 2008 didn't happen, right? Even though we know that to be factual, because it's coming from a very reliable source, which is Manny Pacquiao's own trainer. With all that being said, they still accuse Floyd Mayweather of being this chicken coward. He's so scared. He's so afraid of his own shadow, etc., right? Leading up to the fight, I'm talking about weeks before the fight was announced, it was still fans accusing Floyd of just being so scared. He's so scared he's not going to fight Manny Pacquiao. Even when Floyd Mayweather, walks over, confronts Manny Pacquiao, exchanges phone numbers, trying to desperately make this fight come to fruition. After he gets Manny Pacquiao's phone number, he goes to Manny Pacquiao's hotel, urging Manny Pacquiao not to walk away from this deal. Tried to do everything possible to make this fight come to fruition. And you know what the decaf said after all of that and watching it unfold? You know what they said? He's still scared. Why? Because once again, coincidentalist fighters are supposed to have a permanent yellow streak going down their spine. So that's what they said. Even with all of the evidence presented, they still said that. Then the fight gets signed. Now once the fight gets signed, they all change their tune. You know what they do once the fight is actually official? Now they backpedal. Now they try to make excuses for why Floyd Mayweather is going to win the fight. Now they try to discredit Floyd Mayweather for taking the fight, even though it was only a week ago that they said Floyd was scared of the boogeyman, right? But once Floyd signs the contract to fight the boogeyman, now all of a sudden they want to make excuses. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is all relevant because it's all analogous to the Deontay Wilder versus Povetkin situation. Ain't nothing changed but the names and the dates when it comes to this coincidental list. I keep telling you that. And they're going to do the same thing with Terrence Crawford. Soon as Crawford beats Hank Lundy, decaf start accusing him of ducking who? Victor Postol? Even though Crawford just called out Manny Pacquiao, Mauricio Herrera, Ruslan Provodnikov. We just recently found out that Crawford actually even offered Victor Postol a fight. And according to Terrence Crawford, Team Postal, they said they weren't ready and they needed about 2 more fights. And since Terrence Crawford actually did that interview, Victor Postol has not said anything to oppose what Crawford conveyed. Think about this for a second, guys. Can you guys imagine if every single fighter today would pull the type of moves that Deontay Wilder is pulling to fight a guy who fans said he was afraid to fight? If everyone was pulling the type of moves that Andre Ward is pulling, move up in weight, fight a guy who's undefeated, one of the best fighters at that division, going in there damn near out of your comfort zone because you're at a higher weight class, and putting your undefeated record and reputation on the line. Lomachenko moving up in weight to fight one of the best fighters in the world, one of the strongest punchers, one of the most skilled fighters in the sport, Nicholas Walters. Can you guys imagine if fighters like Canelo Alvarez was willing to do this? If fighters like Gennady Golovkin was willing to do this? Can you guys imagine how much that would help the sport grow? Just food for thought. That's all I got for now. I'm on to the next one.